Diwali, and I'm using one biggest festival as an example, in its full glory, on how Diwali becomes a part of our lives weeks before the Diwali is going to happen, right? The day of. So imagine what is going to happen to the next generation after that one. They're only going to see probably 5-10% of Diwali. People who know but don't care. Those are the most dangerous ones, I think.
Ignorant people.
They are not ignorant because they know.
Yeah, they know.
But they don't care.
Yes.
Right? They know about the situation, but they don't, for some reason, they think that is never going to happen to me. They will watch the movie Kashmir Files and feel really bad about it, but still go back to their old routine. Because they think it happened in Kashmir, it will never happen to me. Indian diaspora in US and Canada are donating, I wouldn't say donate, but contributing millions of dollars to halal economy because they keep buying halal certified food. Part of it is because people who don't care, don't know and don't care. But the people who don't know and care, we should reach them and tell them about the halal problem so that they stop buying it.
Welcome to another sit-down session of Sangam Talks, and today we have with us Varun Kulkarni ji. Namaste sir.
Namaste.
And thank you very much to take time to come here.
No.
So Varun Kulkarni is a multifaceted writer, content creator and engineering professional. And as a founder of Breathing History, he works bridge between the history, culture and contemporary ideas. He has worked in various fields, and for last 15 years he is working. He is serving business development manager for data centers. He has his master degree in mechanical and aerospace engineering from Oklahoma State University. So without further ado, I will go back to our content. That is, we will have. He's also, I mentioned that he's a writer, and his debut book. It's called Weekend Hindu, and the idea behind it, we will talk about it and discuss about it in that book and many more. So thank you, sir. Varunji, so how you, regarding considering your background, how you bridging gap between the current situation and the historical Indian value systems? So tell me something about how you come up with this book, how you get the idea to create this content.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Debasis ji, and thanks for Sangam Talks for hosting this. So why I wrote a book is the basic question, right? If you look at my background, I was in 2019 or 2020, I started working with a YouTube channel called String Reveals. Right from the beginning, we were working, and all the way till the end, I was there with them, working in the background. Then after String Reveals, I started my own YouTube channel called Breathing History, in which we tried to bring out the stories from our historical, we tried to bring out the stories from our history which are either told wrong or have been twisted. So after Breathing History, I was like, okay, what is next? I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to get more platforms like Sangam Talks to be able to tell what I know, what I have felt outside of Bharat. And writing a book seemed like the next natural step to me, so that I can reach out to more and more people and tell them about the issues that the book actually ends up addressing.
Okay, if I may, the content of the book is about the protagonist is a Neel, Indian boy who coming from a traditional family, a very good parents, and he got the American dream. He got to go in America for his study and then become employee there. Got the American dream, and how he still coming from that background, he got manipulated, he got corrupted, his soul got corrupted, drifting away from his roots, and then find someone. There are fascinating characters in this book, and found someone who bring him back to his cultural roots. And you also got a recommendation from Sadhguru. If you give a gist of that.
I wouldn't call it a recommendation. It's more like a blessing that I got. That's fine. blessing that I got from my guru Sadhguru. He blessed me with he liked the summary synopsis the idea of the book he really liked, and so I asked him if he can write a message to the readers. So I'll read like one paragraph of what he wrote, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So he wrote 2 paragraphs. One of that is, Sanatan is hence not an ancient idea, but that of the future. The world has never been more ready for this. With the kind of destructive power that we have in our hands today, exclusive approaches of my way or no way will only lead to destruction for all. It is in the hands of Sanatan to ensure that future generations do not become divisive, but an inclusive and a humanistic force. Basically, he's saying that the Sanatana Dharma is not something that comes from the past. It is the only sustainable way forward for the future generations, because we have to become more and more inclusive. So I was very fortunate and lucky and to be blessed by his message for the readers. So I think he also thinks that more and more people should read this and learn from this.
Great. So my next question will be, why this title, A Weekend Hindu?
Yeah, Weekend Hindu. It came up in a conversation that we were having when I was back in US. Because it has become a norm. It is how, like, everybody has agreed that, okay, this is what we do. That's the part of life. That's how the routine works. That everybody works during the weekday, and only on the weekends you have the time or the interest to even do something that is dharmic or religious, for that matter. So it's not only on a festival, but also on a regular basis. Most of the visitors who go to the temple are only on the weekends, and unfortunately that is also because the canteen food in the temple has a nice, cheap, subsidized good food there, so people go there for the canteen, and because they're there, they also go to the Garbhagriha to do their.
And are you saying that from the point of view of an NRI, a diaspora, Indian individual in the West, or an India and living in India itself?
I have first-hand seen it in US, and based on what I have been talking to people and during my research, we found out that pretty much all the developed countries outside Bharat, the NRI diaspora who is living there is pretty much more or less living the same routine. And then I'm finding out that even in India, people are doing the same things. More so because they think that because they're in Bharat or in India, they're already there, they're already doing it. So they don't have to go out of their way to go to a temple, or they have to practice those things as a tradition, as I talk about in the book, that it has to become a part of your life. It should not be something you do for some time and come back to your regular life. Your daily life, it should be integrated, it should be weaved into your daily routine. It should not be, I'm doing this and I'm not doing this, I'm doing this and I'm not doing this. That bifurcation should not happen. It should be the part of living, as infamously that it is said that Hinduism is a way of life. So the way you're living your life should demonstrate that you are a Hindu, not only on weekends.
Sure. I must say that the narrative style is wonderful. And it's such free-flowing, even a 8 years old can read it.
Nice.
And, I am talking about the narrative.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the way the narrative goes, that like a common Indian boy from a conservative background, and he got manipulated, and not by any foreign individual, from an Indian people. So is it, are we so gullible? Are Hindus so gullible? What you thought about it? Yes, maybe we are.
Yeah. This may not be a very popular opinion, but it's my personal opinion. I think American Indians, or Indians who have been there for some time, are more Americanized than Americans. Okay, they talk about American lifestyle or live the American lifestyle a lot more, and they're more pushy about that. And they are the ones who would question somebody who, like Neel, who just came to US from India. So they are still like kind of vulnerable, right? Because they're coming out of the Indian lifestyle and then coming into an American lifestyle. So the Indians who are living there for a while, they will be the ones who will convince you more, they'll peer pressure you more. It is not that we are more gullible like that, but the problem is that the questions that are asked, the peer pressure that happens through questions, we do not have answers to them. So anything that you're doing today, it could be lighting a diya every day, or going to temple every day, putting a tika, or wearing a janeyu, or whatever you're doing to be as your culture or as your custom. When they are questioned, we are not able to answer them because we have been either told to just do it without asking questions, or we never took the time to figure it out. Why is that? Right? So when someone says that, oh, you guys have more arranged marriages, or why do men don't have any type of symbol of marriage, only women have, or you guys have caste system, and or why are you guys vegetarian?
We become very defensive.
We become defensive, and then we also don't have a good answer to convince them. And that's my problem. First of all, the need to convince. Why do I have to convince you for the lifestyle that I'm living? Even if I have not been told why I'm doing the way I'm doing it, that's okay. That's my prerogative to figure out. I do not have any responsibility to convince you about it. So why do Indians, especially outside, get into that defensive mode of convincing somebody that what we are doing makes sense? No, just do it. If you think it is important and if it works, just keep doing it. There is no reason that every single person has to be convinced of it. They should be convinced based on how you conduct yourself. They should think that, oh, whatever he's doing is working because he's so fantastic, or he doesn't get stressed because he's doing yoga or meditation. It should just show in your behavior or your conduct, not in your answers.
And you mentioned one of your character who bring back that character Neel, the main protagonist. I mean, it's a journey of that protagonist Neel to drop down to this dark pit and of disconnect from your civilizational root, and then come back. He got an helping heart as a wonderful character, a girl called Isha. So Isha, you mentioned here, one of her quote is that we have to unapologetically flaunt our Hinduness.
Correct.
But in the context of NRIs, maybe you mentioned it in your book that they have to be more loud about their Hinduness. Is it also you can talk about it and is it also same thing for an Indian living in India? I mean, we have to compete with the Abrahamics, the way they flaunt their religion, mazhab.
Yeah, right. So I don't think it has anything to do with India or American as far as practicing your culture. So what you do as your daily routine, let's say you get up at a specific time in the morning, you do your sadhana. It shouldn't matter if you're in US or in India, you should do it. If you do yoga, you do yoga. If you do meditation, whatever you have learned, whatever your guru has initiated you in, you do it. That has nothing to do with your geographical location. The only time it matters is when you are trying to deal with the society or the culture that you are living in. So let's say you live in Germany versus if you live in India. You would think that it should be easy for you to wear Indian attire to work or go walk on the street in your Indian attire. Let's say you wear a dhoti or veshti or whatever you wear, which is not a shirt and a pant. Then it should be more acceptable. You should not stand out like that. But if you walk like that in France or Germany or US, and depending on which city you are in, it might be hard to do that. Or wearing a tika or a tilak to your work.
Even maybe hard
should be
here
more
also
acceptable
in India.
Yeah. So I'm saying that is when it matters, right? So in a lot of rural India, people are still wearing dhoti all the time. They are still wearing turbans and pagdi and everything, right? It should be fine. So when it matters is when you are going outwards, when you are trying to interact with the society, that is when it matters. But at the base, at the root, what I'm trying to tell people is that internally, when you're living a lifestyle, as I said, for example, when you're getting up in the morning, doing your sadhana, that has nothing to do with your geographical location. But are people doing that or not? How big is your we call it Devghar, or where you have the gods. You can have photos or murtis or images or whatever you have. How big is it? Is it just in a closet somewhere, or do you have a room dedicated to it? How big? That has nothing to do with which city you are in or which country you are in. So everything that you do inside your home and everything, that is independent of which country you are in. Obviously, little things matter, that in India you can do a havan in the home. There it's a lot of smoke alarms and everything. There are some nuances may happen that can be worked around. So the problem is that flaunting, when you talk about flaunting the Hindu culture, especially when you're outside, you can do it. I wear tilak. I work in US. I wear tilak to work every day.
Because there you don't have the societal support.
Yeah, everybody in the office first questioned, okay, what is it? Questioned or curious, there are two different things. They were questioned because they didn't understand, so they questioned. So when they questioned, are you willing to answer that question? Are you capable of answering that question? Or do you get defensive about it? That is the basic problem. So I wear it every day. So my expectation, or when my friends or my other people who I know, my family members, when they're going to work in India, are you wearing a tilak or not? Small things like that, I'm saying it matters, because the Hinduness has everything, every practices, every tool, everything that we have defined has a very logical and a specific reason for it, right? Dyeing our hair is never a recommendation or a practice, right? Because there is no it doesn't uplift your life, your consciousness. But every other practice, putting a tilak on you, just a small thing, has a very important and profound experience and effect on you. So that is why they were recommended. So everything that is recommended has a reason for it. So you can either seek to find the reason and then keep doing it, or you don't care about it, and because you don't care about it, you don't find the reason for it, and because you're not convinced, so you're not going to do it. I don't think that's the right attitude to be in.
So that is one of the central message that this book carry, and that's your aim. And there are other messages also, like I say, in terms of NRIs, they are very successful in the developed country.
Yeah.
And the Indian diaspora is one of the most successful diaspora. So you talking about in this book part where you are saying that the power they project, the Indian diaspora project, and also on the contrary, how they are the power Indian diaspora is projecting through their success, and also at the same time they are having a peer pressure.
Okay, they're contradicting. Correct. So no doubt Indian diaspora is, at least in US, and that I know firsthand, but statistically I also know in other countries, Indian diaspora has been very, very successful business wise. Like I think 70 to 80% of hotels in US are owned by Indians. Hotels and motel industry is owned by Indians. So business wise, as far as if you're doing business, or even if you're doing a job, working and going up the ladder, you see that in every single industry, even in government jobs, we are highly successful. The diaspora is successful. The question is, are we practicing that influence? If you are successful, let's say Debasis, you become very successful, and you believe in something that everybody should wear white. That is the right thing to do. When you become the CEO of a company, won't you want to enforce that, like, okay, in my office everybody should wear white? I know it's a very abstract example, but depending on what your core beliefs are, what you believe in, what do you think works and what doesn't work, those are the type of values that you will try to implement, because it is not a dictatorial thing, because the only difference is you're trying to do something good because you think wearing white shirt
deep down
helps.
you're feeling that you're doing good.
Correct. It's not like you believe that wearing white shirt is better for the employees and better for the company. You'll feel better about it, whatever. And I know it's an abstract example, but what I'm trying to tell you is that
metaphorical example,
what you believe in, what you have practiced, what you have internalized, naturally when you come to a state of power, you will try to implement it as much as possible. anything that is in your power, you will try to do it. So the same thing, what I'm saying, it doesn't, we flaunt so much that, okay, IBM, Adobe, Google, obviously, Microsoft, all these big companies have Indian CEOs, and these are just the big company CEOs, MasterCard. There are so many companies who have Indian leadership, not just at the CEO level, but even at the middle management. It is full of Indian CEO, Indian diaspora CEOs and managers. So has that, you would think that the thought process, the tradition should have penetrated the American, what do you call that? The companies, right? Why has that not happened? So why, if it's Indians everywhere, the whole department will be Indian, right? So why does the leadership not show up? The Hinduness is not showing up in those companies. When let's say Thanksgiving holidays are there, right? And I'm kind of being ambitious, but Thanksgiving pretty much coincide or overlap with Diwali holidays a lot. I mean, they're pretty much close to each other in November or sometime like that. So there will be companies with the whole department just with Indians. So can the Indians not say that, okay, we will work on Thanksgiving, but instead can you not swap the vacations to Diwali holidays so that we can celebrate Diwali on the day it is supposed to be celebrated? And how the management is Indian, the employees are Indian, so why is that a problem? So why are we going to work on Diwali but staying home, or going on the priority again, going to national parks and celebrating Thanksgiving at home?
So are you saying that it's not about the pressure they have from that foreign society, but they themselves not willing to celebrate in particular, in proper time their festivals?
So contrary to the news media that you see, the mainstream news media, the general American person, they are very tolerant and very nice.
Okay.
What you see in the news media are just like the outliers. The general society is very nice, very loving, very accepting. There is a reason America has people from all over the world working and thriving and developing and progressing. Generations have stayed there. So I won't say that they are pressuring you to be a less of a Hindu or a non-Hindu. So it is just, we are not putting enough pressure upon ourselves to be one. That is the problem.
I have a question relating to that, but I will come to that later.
Sure. So the diaspora is not putting pressure upon ourselves to be one. The only pressure we are putting upon ourselves is to blend in with the American society, who for no fault of their own, it is just not their culture. So we want to become more like an American. That is the peer pressure. Instead of having the pressure of becoming more and more of an Indian. And the problem with that type of mindset is that if somebody is becoming more Hindu, right? More Hindu meaning more inclusive. So it is not going to be disruptive to the society or the environment. If anything, it's going to get better, because the whole idea of Hindu culture or Sanatan is to live in harmony with the nature around you, live in harmony with the society.
No problem if you want to blend in, but in order to do so, don't forget about your roots.
That's all. Right. Blending in shouldn't come at the cost of your culture. That is all. The Diwali that I have seen in Bharat, the next generation is in outside of India is only seeing at best 50% of it. At best. So you can go anywhere from 5-10%, and this is obviously a subjective number, but they're not seeing Diwali, and I'm using one biggest festival as an example, in its full glory, on how Diwali becomes a part of our lives weeks before the Diwali is going to happen, right? The day of. So imagine what is going to happen to the next generation after that one. They're only going to see probably 5-10% of Diwali, and 2 generations Diwali gone from outside of India. In India already people are banning firecrackers and all of that stuff, right? Don't do this and don't do this, all that nonsense going on. So India, you're trying to truncate it. Outside they're already seeing a truncated version. And this is I'm talking about the biggest festivals of Hindu, one of the biggest festival of Hindu. I mean, if you talk about Rakhi and Gudi Padwa and all of those, they're almost disappearing. No Rakhi happens in outside of India.
And how many Hindus know that that's a part of that celebration? We are not, celebrating with patakas for any reason. There is a particular reason behind it.
Yeah.
To lit up the sky for the Pitras.
Correct.
That's the main thing. And well, you mentioned Thanksgiving, and you also said that they are very accepting, the US society.
Yep.
But don't you think that they are appropriating, even, I mean, why I mentioned Thanksgiving, there's an appropriation of Native American culture, if I am not wrong. I mean, they are doing that all the time. They appropriate all the foreign cultures, and they themselves are not native to that land also.
Right. That is obviously going back in history 200-300 years ago that they have come here and all that. But what I'm saying is they are not stopping you from being being a Hindu at your home. Nobody is stopping you.
Yeah.
Nobody says don't get up and do your sadhana. There are more than 1,000, I think 2,000 temples in US, right? 50 states, 2,000 temples in US. They let you build it, right? They're not stopping you from building it. So what is stopping you from not selling halal products in your temple? It is.
So there is no direct peer pressure from them.
I don't think. That's what I'm saying. There could be like outliers or remote incidences. I don't think American diaspora puts as much pressure on you to be not Hindu, but our Indian diaspora puts more pressure on yourself from being not Hindu. American diaspora puts, like, you can take it as a pressure. They will ask you that why do you not eat beef? Come on, let's eat beef. If you take that as a peer pressure, then yes, the reason that you are stuck there is because, when I say you, I mean the general people, general diaspora. The reason you think of that as a negative pressure or a problem is because you don't have an answer to it. You know, if you have, they're just asking out of curiosity. They're not mocking you, right? They're asking, why don't you eat it? Why do you dance in Garba? Why do you wear dhoti? Why do you wear tilak? Why do you have to be a vegetarian?
You should be confident enough to know about your culture and give proper answer.
Exactly. So if you take that as a pressure that, okay, they're going to ask, so let me not do it. That is, I don't think that's the way to go. If you know it, you are confident enough, then you will answer it.
But still, Varunji, the problem about the Cisco caste case, if I may, don't Indian diaspora feel that kind of peer pressure when it comes to the stigmata, if I may say, for Hindus, the caste issue? They always get that.
Yeah, that's a good important point. So the left tried a lot to bring that caste angle into the society. The problem is that, one, obviously they were not successful with that. The SB 403 bill that was brought in California state was not accepted. So that did not win. The problem with that is that there were some organizations like Kona and Hindu American Society. They did come out to protest against it, but was there enough resistance to it? If it was not for those organizations, it might have passed. We don't know. The problem is that in your daily life, in your daily work life, your school life, those things never come up. It was forcefully being injected into the society by bringing up that bill, because they wanted to create more strife, because they couldn't find anything against the Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora pays the most amount of taxes. Indian diaspora follow all the rules. There is almost no criminal activities by Indian diaspora. So what will you go against them with? There is nothing against them. So they're like scratching the bottom of the well to find something against the Indian diaspora. So they found this. They live in one of the wealthiest cities, or one of the wealthiest suburbs in the cities. So they're well-to-do, they pay taxes, they bring business to the society. So pretty much everything is okay with them. Is pretty good with them. So what can you use to count against them? So they brought this caste system. Caste system is pretty much non-existent in that area. It is only asked about when it comes up in the media. It comes up by people who are unaware of that situation, right? So I'm assuming that as a Indian or a second generation Indian even, you should be crystal clear about it. That 2.4 or 3 million population, whatever it is in America, they should be pretty clear about what is the caste system, what is the problem, how do we eradicate it, what is the history of it, how did it get converted from Varna system, Varna Pradhan to caste system, Varna Vyavastha to caste system. So we should be crystal clear about it so that when it comes up, we can give them a proper answer instead of becoming defensive.
And get your answer from proper source.
Yeah, that is a given. Obviously, you want to have good and right information. That's a given. But how many of us get Dharma Shikshan? How many of us there are prioritizing getting that information over watching movies, getting entertained, going to Disney World, going to national parks, going on vacations? How much of that population has this as a priority? Right? That shows up in various formats. For example, this is a real incident. I asked a friend that he should not buy halal certified products from the Indian store. Okay. So there was a biscuit packet, I'm not going to name the company, but that was halal certified. And he likes it. So he buys it. I saw it in his pantry. So I told him, don't buy it. Kyun kharidte ho bhai? So he said, kya hota hai? Hum to vegetarian hai. We're vegetarians. Halal has nothing to do with us. So that's first misconception. Second is, I told him about halal. So he could not understand how him buying a packet of biscuit connects to all the bad thing that the halal funds are being used for. Right? Delhi just had the blast yesterday, right? Close to Lal Killa. Where do you think that money comes from? So that money we have known that this is what the money is being used for. So that connection that, okay, if I buy this item in a particular item at a store, that is what is used to fund these type of activities. They are not ready or willing to make that connection, even when the information is being told to them.
The ecosystem is certainly tried to expose in this book.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is everybody needs to be open to new ideas. Just because you thought that halal doesn't exist or halal only applies to meat products, doesn't mean that it has now expanded to a $3 trillion economy around the world. So it is very important for us to understand how are we even unknowingly contributing to the destructive forces that are literally destroying our culture and who have sworn to destroy our culture, right? So if you don't care about the Hindu society, I don't want everybody to be an activist, and I don't expect everybody to be an activist. Just care about your own kids. Just look at your son, look at your daughter, and justify funding these type of activities. How can you do that?
And you make this book very relatable. Okay, I'll come to that question later. First, in this context, you categorize the NRI diaspora in
four categories. Right.
Do you want to explain that 4 categories? I mean,
yeah.
What's that all about?
So the first is people who know about the situation and they also care about it. So know and care. People who don't know and don't care.
Okay.
That is the fourth. Second. The third is people who know but they don't care. And the fourth is people who don't know but they care. Right? About the situation. So I'll talk about all 4 of them. So the first one that I said, people who know and they care. So there are very, very few of them who know what is going on globally. They know what are the situations. They know what importance our values, our practicing our dharma means, what our traditions mean. And they care about it too. Like they care about what is going on. They're trying to do the right things. So, but the problem is there is very, very few of them. Okay. The other one is don't know and don't care, right? That I think is the majority of the population, and I'm going by just the percentage of the people who I know. I've been there for 16 years, so I know a lot of people. So if I just look at which category forms the majority of the people who I know, which is this, don't know and don't care. Because one, every time you try to talk to them about the geopolitics issue, they think, I don't want to get into politics, I don't know. And you say that, okay, don't eat halal food because this is this, and it's funding this. They're like, I don't care. Who cares? I'm getting what I want. I have a good paying job and all this. So it's because it is not directly affecting them yet. They haven't tasted the problems that other people that are happening around the world. It has not directly affected them yet.
They don't want to come out from their comfort zone.
Correct. So that is the majority of the people. Okay. Then the third is people who know but don't care. Those are the most dangerous ones, yes. I think.
Ignorant people.
They are not ignorant because they know.
Yeah, they know.
But they don't care. Yes. Right? They know about the situation, but they don't, for some reason, they think is that is never going to happen to me. They will watch the movie Kashmir Files and feel really bad about it, but still go back to their old routine. Because they think it happened in Kashmir, it will never happen to me. So that, I would say, I don't call it ignorance. I think that they are the most delusional population. Because they think it happens there. It happens somewhere else in the world. It is not happening to me, and it will never happen to me. And then the fourth is people who don't know but they care. They are the most potential population because they care about it. They will care about it, but the problem is they just don't know about it. Once you tell them, they will jump into the category of know and care.
Sometimes maybe they bring up the most strong walls against someone who are try to corrupt them.
Yeah. So it is just about, because they don't know all the details about it, they don't know all the scientific reasons about it, but they know that this is the tradition I have to follow. They are not up to speed with the geopolitics. That is also fine. So it's just a matter of somebody reaching out to them through platforms like Sangam Talks. Somehow we need to reach that population, because that is the one that will jump to the know and care population, and they will do more and more. So we just need to expand the pool of know and care type of population.
Correct. So I think I can draw the same parallel with the Indian population as well, the Indian Hindus living in India. Same categories.
Sure.
Okay, so let's talk about then the solution. Well, you talk about in this book 10 tangibles. What are they all about? How they can bring some solutions into this matter?
So what I just didn't want to leave people hanging, okay, yeah, you got to be Hindu or you got to practice Hinduism. So I just thought that I would give them an idea of these 10 tangibles, I call it, because they would be the easiest one to start being one, because the natural question at the end of the book will be, okay, we are ready, we want to do it, but what do we do? Right? So these 10 things I just listed on my own, but if somebody can come up with their own, they should come up with their own, but something they have to start. I'll tell you that the three of them. The first one is
most important ones.
Yeah, the most important one, and I think they are the most immediate one they should start right away. One is that you have to donate a certain percent to any dharmic organization that you believe that doing the right type of work. So you pick the percent that works for your budget of your annual income and make sure you donate it to that dharmic organization to support them. A very percent that is comfortable to you. The second is that your kids should participate in the cultural activities, not just by going to it and celebrating it and playing there with the other friends and coming back. They should participate in the functions or your dharmic functions. So make sure, let's say you're celebrating Gudi Padwa, make sure they're part of it. They feel that they also did something. You're celebrating Holi or Diwali, they need to know and understand and be a part of that festival. The kids should be. That is how they will remember and know and feel that festival. And the third thing is, the Hindu society, the way it was structured is that the grahast people, they should live, and their regular life, the grahast life should work for and live pretty beautifully, however comfortably they want. But they are the ones who would support the activists out there. So all the Hindu activists or people who are taking the dharma forward, they are the ones who rely on the support of the grahast people. So nobody is saying that, oh, if you want to support Hinduism, I should not buy a car, should I not buy a big house? I think you should buy more bigger houses. You should make a lot more money, as long as you make sure that you're also supporting the activists or the people who are taking the dharma forward, so that they don't have to worry about where is my next meal coming from. You know, their basic necessity, their food, their housing, their clothing and transport, basic necessity should be taken care of, so that they can do the propagation, they can be the dharma ambassadors and go around and do that primary job. So any which way you can support, they should support. Find opportunities to do it, and they should be able to do it.
As you showed in this book that how much important it is to have your identity intact.
Yeah.
So you also to try to make that book very relatable, you also mentioned about some figures from Pew Research.
Yeah.
How the potential dangers of Hindus,
Yeah.
Hindu society globally, but at the same time how they are successful, the Indian diaspora, as I mentioned before.
Correct.
But still, Pew Research Society is a Western institution.
Yeah.
And we have examples like Reporters Without Boundaries, and they are projecting Indianness, everything about India in a very bad light. So don't you think that whenever we come up with those figures, we have to take that with a pinch of salt?
You should, no doubt. I'm not saying to live and die and swear by the numbers that Pew Research has said. The numbers that I have given are reference numbers. And with the Pew Research, what I have seen is that it has been referred to by all the whole spectrum of from left to right. Okay, Ben Shapiro also refers to it, and a lot of leftist commentators and authors also mention it. A lot of political organization, think tanks refer to Pew Research numbers. A lot of news channels, independent news medias have referred to it. So I have not seen people who are claiming Pew Research to be inclined one way or the other. Okay, that is one. Second is Pew Research. Even if you don't go by the specific numbers for it, I'm always looking for the trend that the data is showing. Does that even make sense or not? So for example, if I say that that in India that Muslim population is rising at a certain rate, Pew Research suggests that. So that is what we are seeing. In Pakistan, Hindu population has been diminishing. That is what Pew Research is suggesting. So now that number, that specific percent, so let's say Pew Research says, I don't know, 2% or 1%, but it's actually 3% from 17%. So from 17, has it come to 3 or 17 has it come to 2? That is not as significant of a question, but the more significant question that we should ask is, it has been declining steadily. That is the takeaway. So the trends that I look for in the Pew Research has been consistent with what I see around, right? So any number that you see around, you can always be skeptical about it. But you need to also see it from a standpoint that do they make sense from the thing that you see around yourself as well, right? So if somebody says that, oh, some research says 80% of the population in India are women, would you believe that? No, because it doesn't make sense to you, right? Doesn't matter what company says that. So things like that, I think we need to look for whenever we're looking at these statistical numbers.
I mean, this book is full of conversations of that main protagonist Neel with his parents, with his girlfriend, and what this conversation reveals that many things, but one of the main theme you try to aim to propagate, that is the Vakya from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I mean, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, and Shatru bodh, Shayam bodh, such concepts.
Yeah.
So please explain this important part of this book.
So what I referred to that slok from chapter 4 is, it's a very common quote, thanks to B.R. Chopra. Everybody knows that slok, yada yada hi dharmasya. The problem with that interpretation, the layman interpretation of that quote, is that people what is the common interpretation? That Sri Krishna said that whenever there is dharma declines in the society, he will come and establish dharma in the society. The problem with that interpretation is people perceived it like if there is problem in the society, Sri Krishna will come and solve it. So now we have brought this into our daily lives. Everything that happens, we always tend to wait for somebody else to fix it, somebody else to blame for it, right? We don't like to take the onus upon ourselves. So if your kid, my kid, going to a same school and they are not being taught the right thing, we both will sit and say, oh, the government is not changing it, the school is bad, the books that are being taught. Not once that will come to our mind that let's find 10 more people or parents like us and let's go to the school and talk to them about it. Right? Every single thing what we do is we just put the onus on somebody else, lobbing it over the fence. Okay, it is your problem, it is their problem. The government has its role to play, no doubt. But are we doing our part or not? Are we doing what is necessary or not? That has to be asked, right? So for example, it is my responsibility to make sure that I do not go to a store and buy halal certified products, right? The government is not going to give me a list of products to buy and the brands to buy, right? So it is my responsibility. They are making sure that the brands have the logo of halal certified on it. So the least you can do is make sure that you don't buy it. Then automatically the companies will see it that there is no business coming from these people. So the problem is we are donating millions of dollars. The Indian diaspora in US and Canada are donating, I wouldn't say donate, but contributing millions of dollars to halal economy because they keep buying halal certified food. Part of it is because people who don't care, don't know and don't care. But the people who don't know and care, we should reach them and tell them about the halal problem so that they stop buying it. My biggest problem is that when you say Indian diaspora, we are doing a lot outside lot of research will say that we see on social media that Diwali is celebrated so well in US or Australia and all that. There are more than 2,000 temples in US. Now, if you look at just the numbers, it's a very positive picture, right? It's a very optimistic picture. But what separates a temple from any other building are the things that are allowed and not allowed in the temple. But then when Zoran Mamdani type of people are allowed in the temple Garbhagriha with their shoes on and the NRI smiling and taking a picture with them, what does it signify? That you have no idea what you are doing. The same temples, I don't know how many of all these 2,000 temples in the country are selling halal certified kulfis in their canteen. How many of these temples play Bollywood songs which sexualize your own daughters and your sisters in the temple auditorium? So what type of temple sanctity are we maintaining? Does that justify the consecration of the deity when you're doing all these activities in the... So yes, on paper, statistically, it will look like you have 2,000 temples. But are they really doing what they should be doing? By definition, temples should be at the forefront of fighting for, not fighting, but representing your religion, right? We haven't come to the fighting part yet. But if you are representing your own religion, why would you sell halal that literally stands against your religion? Why even $1 goes to it? I have personal experiences when I tried to stop it in the temple. They were adamant that they want a substitute for that kulfi. My point was, okay, I will find you a substitute. Come, we will find it together. But they were not ready to have a non-kulfi canteen for a month. I'm like, what's the big deal if you don't sell kulfi in your canteen for a month? If that's how long it takes us to find a substitute. That's the priority, is what I'm saying. We get into this mode whenever we look at statistics. It looks like an optimistic number, but we need to look at it that it is financially, we are financially contributing to something that is sworn to go against us, right? So by no standards, I am a pessimistic person, but I'm just trying to be more realistic and not overly optimistic, so that we get into the mode of trying to solve the problem that exists there. and not just always paint a la la land and optimistic picture to ourselves and saying everything is fine. It's not. So this book should act as a, I would say, a stepping stone or a push for the kids and even for the adults to go towards ideology and getting into the reading habit of stalwarts like Sitaram Goyal or R.C. Mujumdar or Sanjay Sanyal or Vikram Sampatji or Meenakshi Jain. Once they start reading that type of content, there is nothing in the world, no power in the world that can brainstorm them. They will see straight through any type of propaganda. So we just need to get the population there. It's just a matter of getting
for
there.
that fighting part you mentioned as well, I think.
Which part?
The fighting part.
Yeah.
Fighting back.
Yeah.
Defending yourself.
Correct. Never. We get asked a lot in NRI communities that you had a sati system in your society is regressive society.
Caste
you treat
system.
women, caste system, all that. So the problem is that we immediately get into this defensive mode of trying to defend and justify why our system. Now the two problems with that is, one, either we don't have a good answer to it, and second, we don't have a good understanding of their culture also. They know about sati and like let's say a Christian person is questioning that, right? They know about those two, three things to question you about. Do you know about three things that you can question them about?
Sure.
What do we know about them? We don't. So the only thing that we can do is either make fun of it so that we become good friends, so that you don't think I am not I'm also one of you, because we both make fun of Hindu culture. Or I look for an answer to give it to them. So we have to get into that mode, and it's easy to make both of us, let's go make fun of Hindu culture. That's an easy mode to get into, and that is what most of the people get into. So we need to stop them, and the best thing and the easiest thing to do is by telling them what it is. If they know what it is, by practicing and not being a weekend Hindu, they will read, they will know, they will practice, and only then they'll be unapologetic. Unapologetic doesn't mean that I'll just keep picking fights everywhere. It is just that I know I am confident for what I'm standing up for, and nobody should be able to question that. They can question it and I'll give them the answer, but that will not stop me from doing what I'm doing.
Right. And well, talking about figures, look at the divorce rate in those Western countries.
Yeah.
And you also, that's what I like about the dude very much, that the conversations, you also certainly show the value of the institution of marriage through, institution of marriage through different generations as well.
Correct. Yeah.
2 generations. Precisely.
Mhm.
So I have to ask one more question.
Sure.
So the influence the NRI diaspora have, and the power they project through their civilizational values.
Yeah.
So how much influence they have in such society such as US?
Not just US, I think around the world we have influenced a lot of, you can call it movie making, movie content, or businesses as well. There are pretty mainstream movies like Avatar that is literally named after our avatar, right? There are a lot of movies which has references about, like Black Panther has references
It
about
started
it.
a long way back. Movies like The Matrix started a long way back.
Correct. So they've also shown India as poor, like Slumdog Millionaire. They have done it, but both things do exist. It is just that what do we allow to happen, and there are ways to allow it or not allow it. Like Bollywood movies keep making fun of our gods, and we allow it. Right now, Sanjeev Nevarji has done a lot of good work to bring awareness about it. But still, majority of the people have no problem in watching Bollywood movies and all that. But talking about outside of India, the Hollywood movies, you have seen it. Even businesses. Starbucks now is selling turmeric latte. But when our moms would give us haldi ka doodh, we have a problem with that because it's very regressive. Like, what's the big deal? I'd rather. So we did not, which was readily available to us from our childhood, we do not see the value in it. But until Starbucks starts selling it for $5 for such a small cup, we go and buy it and even flaunt that, oh look, this is Indian. Yeah, you flaunt it, but how many times do you actually do it at home, right? Whole Foods is a chain, is a grocery chain there. Whole Foods sell these organic, what do you call that? Organic immunity shots, immunity boosters, which are basically capsules with turmeric filled in it. So you buy those turmeric capsules from Whole Foods, that they are understanding the value of it, but we don't. That is why we put turmeric in all our food, because we understand the importance of that. Comes from Ayurveda, right? Speaking of Ayurveda, they were the ones, America was the one who pressurized India to ban cannabis production or hemp production in India in 1985 under NDPS Act, National Drug and Psychotropic Substance Act. So we banned the production of our own plant that is native to Bharat, because they were trying to get a control on the drugs around the world. So we gave into that pressure and we stopped the production as well. Now, and I think in 2013 or something, I forget the year, but only couple of states in India can grow it under government control based on what they are allotted and only for medicinal purposes. Cannabis, hemp, weed, it is such a miraculous plant as per Ayurveda. It is, we call it one of the 5 miraculous plants. That is what Ayurveda mentioned. It has so many names like Vijaya, Siddha Bhuti. And the amount of uses that that plant has is uncountable. People outside are using it to make oils that does several things, basis of the chemicals, paint varnishes that are being used, the ropes, and obviously all the chemicals that come out of it. So what we missed out on it, and they've already patented it. Now cannabis is $64-70 billion market in US and Canada, and it is banned to be produced in India. So what we clearly are not seeing what the West is seeing, the values in our thing. It is just that one, we are not seeing it, and two, once we have seen it, we are not packaging it or marketing it properly so that it becomes very attractive to the market. You know, we need to look at the generation right now, what type of things they like, how do they want it packaged. They don't have a problem with haldi ka doodh. They just don't like to call it haldi ka doodh. So call it turmeric latte and give it to them. You have to learn to speak their language, and it doesn't matter what it takes. If the propagation of the culture is very important to us, we have to learn the language of the Gen Z and use that to propagate our culture. That is the only way. We can't be like, nahi, haldi ka doodh hi bolna hai, haldi ka doodh hi bolna hai. Bolte raho haldi ka doodh, they will not use it. Why does it matter to you, right? Why is it called? As long as it is milk and haldi, right? Call it what they want to call it so that they use it. Just like that, use anything that you want to propagate, translate it in the language that they understand, and make sure they keep doing it. Some things are important, like the shlokas have to be said the way they are said to be. You can't translate them. So some things are important, but a lot of things can be translated. So marketing, the packaging has to be done so that it becomes more attractive to the Gen Z, especially outside of the country. Because they have to live outside in the culture, they have to live with the teenagers, they have to go to school, they have to go to college. They can't stand out. There is a lot of peer pressure. They can't stand out like, Indian wearing a dhoti, doing that, right? So we have to understand, you have to kind of tweak it a little bit based on where it is, and just to make sure the essence is not lost and still the propagation happens.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, we should find inspiration from that. Thank you very much, sir. So that is my next question will be not entirely out of topic, but a little bit maybe. You mentioned how back in the 80s, 90s, we backed down before US.
Yeah.
But as a NRI, you are observing India from outside India. So from your perspective, how can you see that changed? take the examples like we have been thrown tariff, power pressure from the US, and we just manage that
Correct.
from within ourselves, and we are creating new ecosystem with buying Russian oils and making business with Chinese. So what is your opinion? How good we are doing in global stage, or even if you have found any shortcomings from that current government or Indian system?
So I'm not a geopolitical expert. I don't like to comment too much on it, but I can tell from the book perspective, or what the content of the book, the issues that I address, is that
I'm looking for just an perspective.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So what I have felt is that I think Indian diaspora in US and even outside other developed countries, we are in the position of decision making and demanding and drawing a lot of decisions in a company on a very high level. Shashi Tharoor ji actually wrote an open letter to the Indian diaspora. I think the title was Indian Diaspora Stand Up. Please stand up, something like that. What he was trying to poke at is that the Indian diaspora needs to start standing up for itself and impose its importance to the people who are not seeing it. So with immense amount of contribution that the Indian diaspora is doing to the society or wherever they are, to the country they are in, we are not demanding our position on the table with that rigor. So we are in decision making, we are in lot of positions, decision making positions in US, for example, but still when the H1B thing happened, when H1B $100,000 and that whole fiasco happened, everybody was like, okay, it looks like now we have to go. Now looks like now we have to go back to India. What will we do? Everybody kind of got into that mode of being a pushover.
Acceptance.
Yeah. We become pushovers. We should. Why are we not standing up and saying, no, we contribute enough to society. We demand certain position in the society as well. And it is not like we are only the bottom brink of the economy, right? We are at the highest level, even in the government we are at the highest level. Our CIA director is an Indian. Director of CIA is an Indian, Kash Patel. So why are we not into that mentality of the tariff happened, the SB 403 happened? How are they able to push us over here and there like that? So that is just the mentality that we are pushing. We are still in that hangover of Macaulay hangover that we are a ruled society. Nobody is ruling anybody here. It's a democracy, right? In democracy, you contribute, you live, you strive, you flourish, right? And we are doing pretty good at that, right? We are paying our taxes. We are doing everything that we can. We are not doing any criminal activities. So what is that we are shy of? Why are we at the back foot? Why are we defensive about it? Right? If they are not seeing the value in it, we need to show them the value of that we are bringing in. Like, give you an example. For example, if all the IT workers in the US, they say, okay, they drop their work one day and everybody walks out. Can you imagine the type of effect that it will have, the back end? Like, no banks, no financial transactions, no airlines, no bank transactions, no taxes. Anything that has anything to do with finances will not work. Anything that is computerized will not work. Can you imagine the fiasco that can happen? So I don't understand, why don't we impose our importance? Imposing doesn't mean fighting all the time, but if somebody is not understanding, then we need to make them understand by telling them, by practicing it. And that's a very beautiful article by Shashi Tharoor ji. Everybody should read it.
Thank you very much, Varunji. Thank you for your time. And I must say to the viewers that please read this book to gain, inspiration to how to live like a Hindu, not just in India, maybe for the new generations or even the current generation who are living as a diaspora and thriving in the West.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me, Debasis. Namaste.